Welcome back to the pod, everyone. Today I'm delighted we've got Dimi Konstantopoulos, international for Greece, lots and lots of appearances in the Championship and in League One. Dimi, how you doing?
I'm good. Good to be here. Nice to meet you.
Good to have you, mate. Good to have you. I always start with all of my guests because everyone's got a different journey into football. But I always try and start like, what was the infancy for football with you? Obviously, you were brought up in Greece. Was you in an academy in Greece? What was the situation?
Um, as most kids, you want to play football. You play football at school. You play football when you go out, unless obviously you choose a different sport. Here in Greece is football and basketball, but I was more drawn to football, and I was playing as a kid and up to 8 years old.
Was you always a goalkeeper?
I started, as you do, you play everywhere on the pitch, but I was very keen on diving around, and I enjoy diving around. And so yeah, you have to be a bit crazy. You have to have the bug to be a goalkeeper.
And how old were you then when you made your debut? Was it in the Greek Super League where you made your debut, your professional debut?
I was just turned 18 in the Super League, but before that, I was in a League One equivalent club, and I
Yeah, the
started
second division.
professionally there.
Yeah.
And I only played for from summer of summer of '96 until the January of '97, where I got transferred to the Super League in Greece. So yeah, I was
And
quite young.
your career was quite long, right? What was the how old are you when you actually retired from professional football?
When I retired, I was 40, nearly 41.
Wow.
So 23
Wow, a
years,
long,
23 and
long
a half years.
career.
Yeah.
And I read that within your journey towards like the start of your career, you had a move where you went to Portugal. Is that right?
Yes, I wanted to try abroad. I wanted to try myself, outside of Greece. My goal was always the UK because I enjoyed watching, Premier League games and the style of football, and I was a fan of Peter Schmeichel. Uh, But the chance to go abroad came via Portugal first, and then after that went to Spain for sort of a trial, which was successful. But I stopped the trial in the middle, really, because I got an offer, not an offer for a trial for Hartlepool United. So I just packed everything and left Spain, just because that
How
was the
did
club in the UK.
th- yeah. How does that work? So how does that trial, that transfer work? So you're a player that's playing overseas. Is that through your agent or is that through connections within football that you've got to Hartlepool? How did that happen?
It can be either way, but obviously I didn't know anyone in the UK, and I've never been. Oh, I've actually been on holiday in the UK before, but never in football sense. So it was through an agent that knew that Hartlepool were looking for another keeper, and they suggested me, and Hartlepool said they'll take a look, as they did with others. So it was a gamble for my end, because I already had a contract offered from the Spanish club after the trial. Uh, so I just rejected that, and I left and I went to start all over again the trial. But I knew what I wanted, and I knew that that's where I wanted to be, and I was sure of myself as of my ability that if I got a chance, I'll be able to do well.
And you had quite a decent career at Hartlepool, quite a lot of appearances. I'm sure, like we spoke before the pod, that you got some good experiences of Hartlepool, obviously meeting your partner there as well. Um, do you go back to Hartlepool now, to the football ground?
I do every now and then. I was actually there the other day watching the game against Forest Green. So when I'm around, or when I'm free, when I have free time, I go to watch some games. Obviously, I'll either be watching Hartlepool sometimes, mostly watching Middlesbrough, going the Riverside again, watch some games. So yeah, in the area, because I play for both clubs, I still, like to see how they're doing, and every chance I get, I try to go and watch.
Yeah, we're going to get on to Middlesbrough in a little bit, but before that, you had a couple of different moves. So Coventry, I want to talk about first of all. You played at Coventry. Coventry back in the Premier League. What's your thoughts on that?
It's only, I think, it was overdue. It's a big club. It's got great fan base. It's one of the clubs that sort of uh, co-founded the Premier League, really. Uh, and it's good to see them back in the Premier League because now after there being a lot of hard times and a lot of turmoil, they managed to pick themselves back up. Secure the stadium and everything they needed for that. Get a good manager and get a good squad, and then do it. So I think it was justified, and overall, I think they deserve it 100% from this year's performances in the championship. I think they were the most consistent team, results wise, than any other, and that says a lot when you're in the championship. That's the only way to get out of this league. It's not about playing the fancier football. It's about being consistent.
Yeah. And look, you know that too well, just from your experience, obviously, with promotion and stuff with Middlesbrough. Before you got to Middlesbrough, you played for AEK Athens. I want a little bit of discussion here about AEK. AEK is a big club in Greece, right? And the Greek fans are really, really passionate. How do you look back on your time at AEK? Obviously, I think you got relegated for if I'm not wrong. Um, but yeah, how was your time at AEK?
The first year was really good because we had a great squad. We had very good players. We played in Europa League. Second year, everything just collapsed financially, and uh, about 90% of the squad left. I decided to stay. There was no money for in the club. Players weren't get paid. Uh, so it looked like it was inevitable that the club was going to go for a restructure in the lower divisions. And yeah, it was unfortunate because it's a big club. It's got great, big fan base, great fan base, and you could say at the time he needed that because he was in such a big debt that they needed to make a restart. But no, the first year was really enjoyable. As I said, played in high level, played with some top players.
Yeah,
So it's all experiences, yeah.
that must have been tough, right? That decision to stay with them, knowing that there's financial difficulty, knowing that a lot of your teammates aren't going to be there the next season. Why did you make that choice to stay there? Because I'm sure you had offers, right?
Uh, I did have a chance to go to other clubs. I had a chance to go to actually another big club in Greece. But I decided to stay because I thought, when a situation is like this, people don't tell you exactly how bad the situation is. They tell you, we'll be all right, make, we'll regroup, we'll get a good squad again. Because at the end of the day, you're a big name as a club. So you never think that, there's nothing left. So you always think, how bad can it be? So I decided to stay to help. Uh, but then it was just basically promises which never materialized. And we found ourselves midway through the season with a lot of problems on and off the pitch with a very young squad and experience who tried their best, but the pressure was really big, and also not getting paid is also adds to the pressure of everyday living for some of the players. So yeah, that was my decision, and then you learn. It's all experiences, and you learn from it, or you take it on board and you learn some lessons from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you've just been relegated with AEK, and then you moved to Middlesbrough. How does that move materialise? How does that work out?
Uh, I just finished from AEK Athens, and I was back in Hartlepool at home, and it was in the middle of the summer. I think Middlesbrough had an issue with the goalkeepers. A couple of them were injured, so I got a call, and they offered me a short-term contract or a 6-month contract until January, uh, basically to be another pair of hands in training. So yeah, I took it straight away because I saw it as an opportunity. But if I can show my ability and get an opportunity, I was determined to take it because Middlesbrough was a big club, is next door to where my house is, and I thought it was a great chance. So yeah, I went in knowing it's a 6 month deal, but with a plan to make it longer. And I did it for nearly 7 years, so that was all right.
That's a big risk that you've taken. So as like obviously you spoke about the risk coming over to England with a trial with Hartlepool, and then again you've taken a contract which most players probably wouldn't take, a 6 month contract. And as you say, you're there for many years. What's your thoughts on your time at Middlesbrough? Obviously, you've got a bit of an affinity with them, saying you still go to the games. Tell me about your time at Middlesbrough.
It was brilliant. It was the best years of my career, I think, because of the experiences through them. It was never a boring season. We're either fighting for the playoffs or for automatic promotion or for stay up in the Premier League or again to challenge for the playoffs. So it was really good because I played my best football. I was 34 when I signed, and I felt more mature as a player because as a goalkeeper, experience is a big thing to be able to read games. And as long as you keep yourself fit and in a good condition, which I try to do, it actually helped me, and I felt better and more complete as a player. And obviously, you know, was why I try to help as much as I could to keep a lot of clean sheets that we did and have good performance and eventually get promoted to the Premier League.
Yeah, what an achievement! I've seen an interview with Aitor Karanka. I'm not sure if you've seen it, where he talks about you and he talks about your attitude. That you wasn't always first choice goalkeeper, but because of your attitude, because you kept going, because you were super professional, you got your opportunity and you took the opportunity when it came along. Um, there was one penalty save that I've seen from, I think it was from Henry Lansbury.
Yeah, Nottingham
I
Forest.
think was it against Nottingham Forest. Yeah, yeah. You had a great career there, right? And you're part of the team that got promoted. When you look back at like your latter years at Borough, I think you were really unlucky because didn't Victor Valdez come in to Middlesbrough?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, what was he like, first of all?
Obviously, Victor is a big name. Was a big name, and you know played the highest level, and he did pretty much everything. So we're all excited. I was excited to work along him. Uh, we did get along. We never had a problem. He was a good guy, but it didn't work out as obviously I think planned or the club planned, and we found ourselves struggling towards the end. But the thing that you mentioned earlier about what Aito said about me, something that I learned later in my career, and I try to now pass it to young players as an advice. Because when I was younger, sometimes the manager won't play you. You think it's unfair, so I would be mad at the manager and start maybe not performing as well in training, so I can show my frustration. And what I found, what I realized was that was making the manager's position stronger. So if he was thinking about playing you by behaving like that in training, he was just saying, "Well, why would I play him? Look at him." So I thought the other way is to keep training 100%, to keep you know showing that you are professional, and in the end, you give the manager a problem. So when you get the opportunity, you try to take it, and that was my what I did in Middlesbrough, and I've done it twice under Raito, and then the second time obviously I stayed in for 2 seasons straight.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, when you reflect on your time with Aitor, I mean, he's a big coach, right? Big coach with great experience. How did you find that? Obviously, you've moved on from being a professional footballer now into coaching yourself. Was there things from Aitor that you learned?
Of course, yeah. Through your career, you take things from every coach that you learn, and sometimes you see some things that they don't work that you can use as a coach later, and obviously you take some things that you see that they work. But ultimately, it's down to each person's being a coach, your personality. If you start faking who you are, is trying to copy other people, I don't think you'll succeed as a coach. You have to have some fundamentals that values that you pass on to players, um, that show your character. And I think that's what Aito did. Aito was a perfectionist. Obviously, everyone was in awe when he came in the club and all the players because his career as a player, working as the assistant with Jose Mourinho, Real Madrid. So it was easier to get the players' attention, and it did. And I think that was the reason why we did well. But then because he was a perfectionist and he wanted things done his way, but he wanted things done, that pushed us as well. So we pushed each other, and that's what made us better. But back then, and I said it before, that could go different ways. So if you try to push the players in that way, but you don't have strong characters in the dressing room, that could go the other way. It needs strong characters, personalities that can take it. Uh, so as a manager, you have to evaluate some things when you go into the dressing room, and I think Aitor on that instance got it spot on.
Yeah. And so you've moved on, you've taken the route, and all footballers take different routes, right? And you've decided to go down the route of coaching, done a few different roles, goalkeeper coach, assistant manager roles. How are you finding your coaching journey so far?
It's it, it's a new job really. You go from being on the pitch to being on the sidelines, and from looking after yourself really, only yourself, to having to look after 25, 30 players with different personalities. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it because I like the interaction with the players. I like being able to win, to earn their respect, which I think is massive. I learned that as a player. Um, and my plan was always to be a manager, and that's still the plan. But I had to do it through the goalkeeping coach route because it's easy as a being a goalkeeper to secure your first role as a goalkeeping coach. So yeah, that was the plan, and I transitioned to assistant manager. And now the next step is become a manager. And every club I've been through so far, it's a good experience because I have images and ideas that you get from different environments and different personalities and how to handle them. Because as a coach, you have to be a little bit of a psychologist sometimes. You have to deal with 30 different personalities, and your goal is to try to get 100% out of every one of them. So you have to find the buttons. So I find that a good challenge, and I enjoy it. So yeah, that's the plan.
I had this a similar conversation with Lee Camp. Did you play with Lee at all?
Played
When
again.
did
I
you
played
cross
against
paths
Lee.
when you were at Forest?
I played against Lee a few
Oh,
times.
okay.
I know Lee is a good lad, very good guy, very good goalkeeper.
Yeah, yeah, it is top. We were having this conversation around psychology, being a coach, because it is very much like I think tactically, especially in like the lower leagues as well. Um, Psychology is so important, right? And the role of a coach isn't just the coach. You've got to try and support the mentality of these players as well, which isn't easy. Where do
Psychology is
you
a
think
massive
that
thing.
you're? Do you think?
Bro. Psychology is a massive thing in sports in general and in football, and I think it's still underrated and unappreciated. I pay a lot of attention to it. I am in contact and in collaboration with a professor of behavioral psychology in a university in Athens, um, who's who helps me understand more the patterns and the neuroscience between the different decisions, different actions as a manager, how the players would react and why. This is very interesting, and we are having a lecture in the university in the next couple of months about it, about behavioral psychology in football. So yeah, I know Campi is big about that as well, and I think you see more the higher you go. I think the best coaches in the world, they're first of all, the great man managers and great psychologists, because they have to deal with big egos, they have to deal with big personalities. And managing that is more important than telling the players how to kick the ball or how to make a pass, which is at that level is irrelevant because they're already top players. So yeah, it's there
Mm-hmm.
is an adaptation part of it because I think the lower you are or you start from, the more the coaching is evident. You have to use your coaching, you have to use your tactical brain, uh, but still try to work on the psychology as well. The higher you go, there's more attention to the psychological part of the players of the group than the actual, you know, um technique or how to make a pass because they already know that they're already at the high level.
Yeah, and the quality is there. Let's be honest. They've got their talent. They're there for a reason. What happens in terms of like your thinking for your next move? So, I recently spoke to Sergio Raimundo, who was assistant at Tottenham, and his career was really interesting. It was Portugal, Austria, Senegal, Australia, Scotland, England, to try and learn about different cultures, different languages, to connect with players. What's your thinking on your next move? Obviously, you've done a few stints in different countries, but have you thought about that?
I'm open. I just it's difficult, not difficult. It's challenging as your first job as a manager. It has to be the right one. It has to be the right project. It has to be the right circumstances because I think it's it sort of makes your the rest of your career. So if you nail that on and you have it's in your terms and what you're looking for to go and work, you have a lot more chances to be successful. And when you start successfully, then it's easy to climb. While if you just jump into any opportunity, um, it might work the other way, and then you maybe back to square one, or even a back step. In that respect. So yeah, I'm open, but it needs to be something that I'm I'm excited about, something that it makes sense to me, and something that I think there's potential. So yeah, it could be anywhere in the world. I don't have a problem with that. It's, as you said, great experience being in different environments, and I've experienced that in four different leagues so far: Scotland, Cyprus, Greece, and the UK. Uh, being a coach. So yeah, this is the plan.
Dimi, is there a big difference between your experience that you had in Scotland and your other role? Was there a big difference in terms of like the football philosophy in Scotland or not?
There is the football culture in different countries is sometimes differs a lot. So Scotland is more the game is more direct. It's a lot. It relies a lot on strength. Relies a lot on transitions, set pieces, etc. In Greece, for example, in the Super League, is a lot more technical. There's a lot more stoppages in the game. Um, there's a lot tactical, and it's a different sort of approach to it. And you have to recruit different players. In Cyprus is the same. So
Yeah.
it's good to have uh, that view from different leagues because if if it happens and my first job is in Greece or in Cyprus, then I know what type of players I would need.
Yeah. There's it seems like more and more over the recent years, some English players have been joining the league in Greece. and in Cyprus as well. I think there's one team that have got like three ex-Rangers players. Actually,
Yeah, Cyprus. I
I'm
think it's
pretty sure there's
Paphos.
a team that have got like three.
Paphos,
Yeah,
probably. Paphos.
yeah. I'm not sure what the links are there, but yeah, pretty cool. There are a couple of Greece as a country. Just quickly before we move on to the next section, but Greece as a country, what is going on in like the food that you're giving the youngsters in Greece? Because there's some great young players in Greece at the moment. There's a young boy at Brighton. You
There's always been
think?
talent. Yeah, there's always been talent. There's always been talented players. Just until the borders sort of opened for those players, there was no much infrastructure for those players to, develop. And because big clubs in Greece rely a lot on foreign players to add to their quality, they don't get enough chances. So a lot of them resort to moving abroad and starting there, and these are
Yeah.
the results. So hopefully, Greek clubs will start paying more attention to their academies because there is talent and it can be cheaper for them instead of going and spending a lot of money in uh, foreign players, and that gives the Greek football a better chance as a national team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a young kiddie. I'm not sure if many people know about him. I think that
Careta?
obviously Greece fans will know about him. Karetzas, yeah.
Yeah,
Is it Genk?
yeah, yeah.
He's a good player.
I
He's a
think
really good player.
I
I'm
think he's
not
destined for
sure.
the Premier League next season. I've heard
You think
rumors
he'll go
about
to the
it.
Prem?
Yeah, I think so.
So just going to double check my facts here before I say something that's wrong. I'm pretty sure this season he's got something like 10 assists, but I just want to double check it. Yeah. He hasn't got any goals in the Belgium league. He's 18 years old, but he's got 10 assists. I think he's going to be wicked. I've seen him play a couple of times, only 18 as well. And he's played 30 games just this
He's
season,
a, li-
played
he's a little bit
34 last season.
he's a little bit Messi-esque, his style, his left foot and his low gravity, the turns and the twists. But he's got a good football brain as well for his age, and he's got a lot to improve as well. This is the key. I think that's what most of the clubs look at right now. That's why he's a hot prospect because you see a player who's already can perform at a high level, but his potential, the next 5, 6 years, 7 or whatever, is limitless. So he can become a very 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 good player.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks really good. There's another Greek player that I just want to give him his flowers. I'm actually, I'll be honest, I'm a Spurs fan. So I'm about to give flowers to a player that I probably shouldn't do. But the West Ham centre half, Mavropanos.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good
He,
player, good defender.
I know he is good, and I know West Ham are down with us at the bottom, but he's actually been brilliant. He's been really good, and I feel like this season he's just added that consistency to his game. So yeah, really pleased that it looks like he's playing really, really well. He's a top player. We'll go on to some of our next questions inside the dressing room. So I'm going to ask you a few questions here. We'll see how you get on. Dimi, who was the best player that you played with?
I'll have to say it was Eddie Johnson, the ex-Barcelona and ex-Chelsea striker. And we played together at AEK Athens for a year. It was top. It was great. You could see the quality. You could see his awareness of space. You could see, his football brain, and he was a good guy as well. So because we hung out a lot because of the language as well. So yeah, I'd have to say him.
He is top. I actually, funny enough, I see a video last week when he was young. I think his dad was playing for the Icelandic national team, and he was on the bench, and his dad got subbed for him. I don't think they had
Yeah.
an opportunity to, but they actually played together. But that happened, and I think his sons are
Blackburn.
playing now professionally.
I think
Yeah,
his
the
son is at
striker at
Blackburn.
Blackburn, he's actually done quite well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's done really well. Yeah, he was a top player. I think towards the end of his career, he was at Spurs as well, and yeah, top quality. Great, great shout. Who was the most underrated player that you played with?
Oh, there've been a few. I'll have to say, I'll have to say Lee Tomlin. I played with Tomo for a couple of years. It was not underrated. I'll have to say, didn't fulfill his potential. I think he had unbelievable skill, a fantastic football brain. You know, he could turn someone inside out. He could find a space. He could create something from nothing. But I don't think he reached the level that he could. Tomo he's a great lad. We're great friends, but I think he had you know a lot more in him. For whatever reason, it didn't go a lot higher.
Yeah, I don't. This is so funny. So, that's the second person that's mentioned him. So I recorded with Alex Smithies a few weeks ago, and he mentioned him as well and said how good he was. I don't think he made it to the Premier League, but he was just like he was that guy in the Championship that was an absolute handful.
He actually
Top
played
player.
played for Bournemouth in the Premier League for only a few games though.
What did he? Oh, was it only? Oh, yeah. I was gonna say I didn't recognise he played in the Premier League. Oh, yeah. Top player though. Great, great shout. Um, who was the manager that you connected with the most?
Connected with connected with Hans. Hands down was my first coach when I was 17. That he took me to the League One club, and he taught me everything that from being a goalkeeper. Uh, but after that, I think I had a great connection with Aitor. I had a great relationship with Roberto Martinez at Swansea. He was a great man manager. This is the examples that you keep. You know, that's why I said you take something from everyone. So from Aitor, I would take his perfectionism, his attention to detail. From Roberto, I would take his the way he managed the people. He made you feel like you're 10 times the player that you are. That made the team grow in confidence. In Swansea at the time, we were winning games, but we were not, the best team. But we were winning games because we thought we were unstoppable.
He was brilliant. That was a real gamble for Swansea because he was, I think from memory, he was a player, and then I think they made him the manager, and he had like this philosophy of trying to play football, but he was in the lower leagues. But he really was like, no, we can play football, proper football in the lower leagues, and he's obviously had a smashing career. Um, Not bad choices as managers there, mate. Who was the toughest striker that you faced?
Honestly, I've faced a lot of strikers, a lot of big names, but the toughest one was this guy, Michael Vaughan. He played for a few clubs. He played for Birmingham, I think, for Huddersfield, for a few clubs. Every time we played against each other, he gave me uh, cracked ribs twice because I came out to collect the ball and he slid to get it. And I remember one game winning 3-0 against Huddersfield, and the game was finished, really. And it was about 85th minute, and there's a back pass to me, and he's chasing 100 miles an hour. And I look at him and I think, mate, the game's finished. Relax, let it go. But it didn't stop. And he was really tough to play against, yeah.
Well, I'll have to try and find some of those clips. So we're going to go off to some quick fire now. What was the best stadium that you played in?
Wembley has to be up there. Definitely a packed Wembley is a great stadium to play in. Um, Old Trafford is great. We know it's called Theatre of Dreams because of the acoustic in the ground, and when it's loud, it's loud. Um, so there is one stadium in Greece, in the PAOK Salonika. Uh, that stadium, I played there against when I was against PAOK when I was at AEK Athens, and the atmosphere was so electric that the whole stadium was shaking. It was so intimidating, and that's another one that sticks in my memory.
I can imagine. Flares, flags.
Yeah,
Love it, love it. Just you spoke about right at the start where you were a young player in Greece and you had this dream of playing in the Premier League. And now we're talking about you made it to the Premier League with Borough and you played at places like Wembley and Old Trafford. Um, you must look back on your career with some decent memories. Have you got like your tops and or your gloves and things like that? Have you got that around the house?
I do have my tops. Gloves have been given away a long time ago to fans probably, but tops I keep them all, and I actually have them in Greece at my mum's house. The most safe there because we might move sometimes and you might lose stuff. So yeah, I do keep that, and
Yeah.
I have loads of photographs and memories. It's been a good career. It's been a roller coaster, but it's been worthwhile. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, mate. You've had a top career. We're going to finish on this last question. Um, who was your childhood hero?
I mentioned him earlier. He was well. First of all, when you're a kid, is your dad. I think. Uh, After that, when you become a little bit a teenager into sports, the goalkeepers I admired the most were Peter Schmeichel, Van der Sar, and Gigi
Yeah,
Buffon. These three. Mostly Peter Schmeichel because of his not just his performances as a player, but his personality. I like the way he commanded the defenders. I like the way he looked confident all the time, um, and I like his style. He was the one who brought the Danish style. The clutch and the ball, which actually I worked with his son with Casper at Coventry. We were uh, at Coventry together, so you could see where he
yeah.
gets it from. And no, yeah, he was my biggest one, and obviously Van der Sar and Buffon as well.
Did you ever have an opportunity in your career where you got to play with against any of them?
I didn't know. I was begging for Casper to bring his dad over in training, but he never did. I'll never forgive him for that.
Love it. Dimi, we're going to finish on the end section here. So this season, I've created a game. We've been doing it offline for a few seasons, but we've made an app for it now. It's called Football Blackjack. And all you need to do is pick 4 players at the start of the season. And like Blackjack, the card game, you're aiming for 21 goals collectively between those 4 players. After 21, you go bust. So it's a nice way of picking. You pick 4 players at the start of the season, and then you sit back and you relax. Not like your FPLs where you have to keep doing it each week. This is we've done it for a few years and it's been good fun. So we're going to do it with yourself. The it'll be Premier League, and we'll do it. We'll do last season, so we'll do a retro one. So we'll do it on last season. What we'll do is once you tell me a player, I'll look them up. We've got a section in the app which is called stats, where you can actually go back on the last season and you can type it in. So give me a player. I will then tell you the number and we'll go from there. We'll see if you can get 21
From last year, yeah. Um,
from last season.
obviously, obviously, you don't touch Haaland because you're going bust already. Uh,
Yeah.
so the first one would be uh, what's his name? I don't want see. I'm trying not to think too many strikers because I want to aim for midfielders because if you go to strikers, you're already um, Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes. Yep. Let's have a look. So Bruno Fernandes last season got 8 Premier League goals. So you're on 8.
Do I have to make 21 with all 4, or it can be with just 2? Or
All 4. All
all
4.
4?
They all need to score at least 1 goal for you to be active.
All right. Okay, Bruno Fernandes, then Gabriel from Arsenal.
Gabriel. I think he scored a few goals last year. So Gabriel got 3 goals last year, so you're on 11.
11. Casemiro.
Casemiro. He's had an absolute stormer this year. Casemiro only got 1 goal last season.
Did
So
he?
you're on 12.
Oh no! So I need
Only
someone.
1 Premier League goal.
I need someone with 9.
Someone with 9.
I'm gonna go for. Give me a minute, because this is.
Take your time.
Man City. What about? No. What about Doku?
Doku. 3.
You're joking me? In the Premier League?
3
Oh my
in the
God!
Premier League. So 15 total. Not
I was
easy, right, Dimi?
no. I was in between Doku or go for Marmoush. How many Marmoush did you have?
Let's have a look at Marmoush. Marmoush got 7, so he would have got you closer. Not easy, but obviously we're doing it retrospectively on last year. It'll be ready for the new season next season. We've also got a World Cup game that we're doing, but yeah, next season we'll have Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, and the Scottish Premier League. So yeah, thanks for playing, Dimi. Look, first, I just want to say massive thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been great knowing a bit more about your career and a bit more about your teammates. I'm wishing you all the best for your next managerial role, wherever that may be, and we'll be keeping an eye on your developments. But wishing you all the best, Dimi, and thank you.
Thank you, Jack. It's been a pleasure being here. Great chat, and thanks for having me.